and today I am back with another speed build. So this time we are going to be building a restaurant. I thought that it would be a really nice idea to do an Italian styled restaurant because I haven't done an Italian styled home in a while and I absolutely love Italy. And I've only been to Italy twice, but when I have gone, I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. So I definitely wanted to do a build that was an Italian style. I really hope that it is. I know that I do have a lot of Italian viewers, so I really hope that I've got it right. I would imagine that this style of restaurant would be maybe near the vineyards or something, like near the farm areas. I don't really know. But I wouldn't imagine it to be anywhere near the coastal areas. I wouldn't imagine this to be in Portofino or anywhere like that because, I don't know, it just looks very countryside to me and I love that about it. But anyway, it's going to be called Giardino Fresco. I think that's the right pronunciation, but of course I'm not sure. But it's supposed to mean fresh garden or garden that's fresh, and I loved that for this build because it is really an outdoor garden and I really wanted that. I wanted it to look very romantic. So if you have Sims and you're looking for a place for them to go, I think this would be absolutely perfect. So it is on the Sims 4 gallery if you want to go and download it, and you can find it through typing in HattySims and it will come up and you'll be able to get it. What I was doing here though is I was making an outdoor terrace area because I really wanted to do one of these for a very long time. I did one a while back for Eco Home. I know that some people actually found my channel from that video, and I did want to make this Italian styled restaurant very outdoors, and I thought by making it a little bit eco-friendly would be a really nice effect because I love vines, I love plants, and I just thought for an Italian home that would be my absolute ideal. In fact, I would probably live in Italy if I was given the chance. I think I would. If it was the right part and if there were many people around that I could socialise with, because sometimes when I'm not around anybody, it can get a little bit lonely. Like, I don't know, in Germany, sometimes it's difficult because I live right out in the countryside. But I think if it was the right opportunity, I definitely would. And I've only been to Italy twice in my life. I went on a cruise when I was 12 and I also went on a cruise for my honeymoon. So I went to Naples, I think, in Italy, and that was really nice. We mainly went walking around the harbour, but I love walking around harbour areas because it means that I can explore the different boats, or at least look at them. And I love that. I absolutely love it. I've had a fascination with boats like Sunseekers and, I don't know, speedboats. I absolutely love them. So I do like going to Ibiza and places, and sometimes we hire a speedboat or something like that, and it's really fun. We only do it for a day, but it's really interesting, and I think even to look at big boats, I absolutely love it. So yeah, the cruise ship was perfect, and of course Naples was as well. The only thing about the cruise ship that I didn't like, and probably some of you will know this by now because I do talk about it a lot in my videos, or at least I've mentioned it in a few already, but it was the fact that after the cruise, I was supposed to put my bags outside, so I put 2 of my big luggages outside. Bear in mind that it's all the stuff I've got from my wedding, so my husband's wedding suit, my veil, the gifts that I was given, my best clothes, because of course you take your best clothes on your honeymoon, so everything in there that I could have possibly needed was in those 2 bags. And I put them outside my room, and the cut-off point was 12 o'clock, and we put them out, I think, just before 12, and we saw a member of staff cart them off, and he said, "Oh, thank you very much, I'll go and put these with the others," and we said, "Okay, great." And when we went down in the morning, we went to go and collect them, and they were absolutely nowhere to be seen. And I don't know where they've gone, but MSC Cruises really haven't wanted to speak to me about it at all. Like, they just keep putting the phone down on me, or they just don't answer my emails or tweets or anything like that. So it's crazy. Like, I honestly don't know what to do. I mean, I'm absolutely stuck because I read the terms and conditions online and they're pretty much saying that they're not liable for theft. But I don't know, like, I wonder how it is if it's your own company stealing. I have no idea, but I don't know. I don't know if they're stolen or lost because they're just not telling me anything. But anyway, back to the build. So the build I was very happy with. I tried to change the roof colours because I thought that I would go for something really interesting there, and it didn't really work out, to be honest. I went with going for a red roof in the end. And I think what I really like about the build as well is the fact that it is mixed with the Sims 4 Get Together. What I like doing is I do like mixing the packs, and I know that some people have mixed opinions of that, but I did find out that you can download houses even if you don't have all the bits and bobs. So this home, you could still download it from the Sims 4 gallery, and it will be missing some stuff, but you could easily replace it with whatever things you have. And I thought that that would be a really good way because it would mean that I could include a lot more people. If you have a certain stuff pack or game pack or expansion pack, then it means that you could download this build with the things that you do have and then replace what you don't have. But anyway, so this build, I was trying to work out where I was having the door because that was really important. I spent a lot of time. This build probably took me about 3 hours to do, which is probably one of my longer builds. I actually spent longer doing this build than I did with the Beauty and the Beast castle. Of course, the interior will be on this video as well, so it's not just this long. I mean, it's over 30 minutes, and that's because of just how big it was. It was just really, really big to fill. And of course, I am building it in Oasis Springs, so if you do want the same plot as I have at the moment, then you'll need the long 40x30, so that if you download it into your game, it won't be sideways. I absolutely hate that. I used to download things from the Sims 4 gallery and they always used to arrive on my game sideways, and I used to think, how on earth am I going to use this? It's just crazy. But yeah, I figured out that you can actually rotate it. So if you rotate it, it should be absolutely fine and you should get this build. So I was very happy with it. I think that it does look very Italian, or it's just very typically countryside for me, so I was very happy with it. I actually tested it out with Vito Verona, so if any of you know who he is or something like that, because some of you may have watched the Rags to Riches challenge that I did a while ago, I actually tested it out with him managing it, and it was just really fun. Now, I don't know if he's got all that money from legitimate ways. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to do with Vito, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to carry on the series or maybe have a little break for a bit just before I start doing my Let's Play Witches. I've been holding a lot of stuff off at the moment, so if you're wondering why no pomegranates has been up or anything like that, it's because I'm honestly working on my new Let's Play and it's just taking absolutely ages. But anyway, so what I was doing is I was rearranging stuff. I think what I really, really like about the new game pack is the wall ornament that looks like writing. I absolutely love that. I think it looks absolutely fantastic on this build. And I love going to restaurants that are really old and they've actually got a little bit imprinted on the house or the restaurant, wherever it is, to say how old it is and the year that it was founded and whatnot. I absolutely love that. And in fact, a house that I was going to buy a while ago, because when we first moved to Germany, we were actually thinking about buying a house, and the house itself is about 400 years old. And I'm absolutely obsessed with houses that are like really, really old and they're a little bit in the Tudor style. I absolutely love that. And with ivy and vines, it had it all. You can imagine what type of house I would go for. I would go for a house like this, but slightly smaller. So yeah, we didn't end up going for it and we just went with a rented house in the end, which was nice because it's a little farmhouse, but it's not what I would want on the exterior, I don't think, because I love ivy, I do, and I know that it's bad for a building, but I still love it. I think it's amazing. So we didn't end up going for the house in the end, unfortunately, because it was massively overpriced, apparently. The banks actually told us, they said, no, back off that property because it will, it's falling apart, like you won't have it for long. So yeah, we didn't end up going for it in the end, so that was that. A lot of my houses are actually styled off a house that I used to live in a really long time ago, and it was back when I was about 7 years old. We only lived there for about 3 years, and then we moved to another house, but we've always lived in houses with ivy and things. You may have seen it on Twitter. I shared a picture of my parents' house in Switzerland, and it's just plastered in ivy, and I love it. It's just so pretty, and in the summer months it's just absolutely gorgeous to go and sit outside, and my dog goes for a swim in the little stream outside. It's absolutely lovely. But yeah, so a lot of my houses were actually styled off a very old house, and it was like a black and white Tudor home, and I liked it, but it was very scary. And I don't know if anyone else had this in a house before, but it had a lot of history. It had a lot of things that went on there, and a lot of people unfortunately passed away in the house. So it was very creepy, and a lot of stuff happened there, and I definitely want to do a story on it at some point, because I don't know if I'd do it on a speed build like this, but honestly, so much stuff happened there. Like, even when I was 7, I had a really bad experience. But anyway, when I was testing out the items and things, I was just finding things that I really liked. I know that Sims 4 Get Together does keep popping up, but I honestly can't help it. I just love the ivy in that, and that's what I used for a lot of the outside of this build. And I was also playing playing around with the roofing. The roofing was supposed to be very interesting. There was a little balcony as well. I didn't end up doing anything with it, but you could actually do something with that if you wanted to, and you could make it into something really, really lovely. Of course, if you do use this build, I would love to know what you do with it after you download it, because I get really interested in that sort of stuff, and I love seeing my builds being used. It makes me feel really happy and know that they're being used. So yeah, that's that. There was also a little area that I would like to imagine is an area where people could go over and get little ice creams from and things like that. If you wanted a takeaway, then you could, but it would be a very expensive, exclusive takeaway. Now, I haven't really seen many exclusive takeaways before. I've only ever seen one, and it's at an Indian restaurant in Devon, which is a place on the border of Switzerland in France. And there is an Indian restaurant there, and it's really, really good quality. I absolutely love it. It's my favourite place to go, and I think that it's really good to go there. I don't know, I just like it. But every single time I've gone there, it's got really, really good food. So I always have takeouts from there when I go and visit Switzerland. It's wonderful, and that is what I like to do in my free time. But anyway, it was landscaping at this point. I really enjoyed landscaping this plot, to be honest. It's a big plot, and I love doing big houses and just landscaping them. I mean, I think my least favourite bit is probably decorating the wallpapers or picking them out, because at the moment I've been really uncreative with that. I think I enjoyed it in the past, but now it's just so much of a chore, especially when I'm not feeling creative. I really did have to push myself with this build, because I was thinking, I just want to go and play it. Like, I want to go and see what it's like. And I've actually really enjoyed it so far. I was actually struggling to get the people to sit down at first, but when I figured it out, it was a lot easier. So yeah, now people can actually use this restaurant, and it's really good. But I also like the idea of picking out a customized restaurant menu. I was actually going to suggest that you would pick the most expensive things for this build to sort of pay off the bills for it. But after looking at what happens when you have an inexperienced chef cook very, very expensive food, the food is poor quality. So going for things like pasta dishes, spaghetti bolognese, anything cheap to begin with would be a very, very good idea, I think. But of course, if you have an experienced chef, if you have an experienced player and things, then yeah, you could go for something a little bit more. But I don't know, I really like this build. I really like it, and I think that it would be difficult to actually manage. But I think that's half the fun of it. I didn't want to do a starter build. I didn't want to do anything like that, because I just find it too easy. And I don't know, I like to challenge myself and just jump straight in and just go for like a really big project. So that's what I decided to do here, and I do not regret my decision to do that. I put some cars at the front because I wanted to give the impression that there may have been some customers that have just arrived, and I loved that idea. So I thought by putting some cars at the front and enlarging some children's toys, that would be a really nice thing. I didn't want to segregate the parking spots. Sometimes I do that with my builds, but I thought because it's an Italian-styled country restaurant, I thought they would just be scattered around, and I got that idea from when I went to Naples and I saw the roads, because the Naples roads didn't have any lines to separate the cars, so you didn't have the queues or anything. I mean, all the cars just overtaking each other. It was absolutely fantastic, and I personally think it is a skill to drive like that. It really is, because you have to watch the road at all times, and I couldn't do that. That's honestly me admitting that I could not drive in a stressful situation with cars overtaking me from the right, from the left, from just everywhere, just absolutely everywhere. So I think it is. It's a real skill. I don't know how on earth like anyone can do that. It's crazy, because where I passed my test in England, it was very, very strict, and when I did, I think I always failed it for like getting 2 minors or 3 minors. No, I got 2 minors for maybe not adjusting the gears correctly. And the guy said to me that if I'd have got 1 more of those, like if I'd have done it again, then I would have failed. So I was really, really glad that I didn't do it again. But the theory test, I passed second time round. So my driving test I passed first time round, but the theory test was second. And what happened was I failed it. I think I was like a couple of marks off. And I went home and I learned every single question answer. And there's about 1,000 to learn. And I spent hours and hours and hours just rehearsing them and memorizing it. And when I did that, I felt so much better, and I went in and I passed with 100%. I got 100% in the hazard perception and 100% in the questions, but it's pretty easy when you know every single one of them. I was actually testing my mum, and she doesn't like not knowing things or not knowing the correct answers to things. So I would ask her a question, and when she'd get it wrong, she would get really, really defensive, like, I don't think I got that wrong. Yeah, she doesn't like being wrong. But yeah, so anyway, back to the build. This was when I was putting in the carpets. I thought going for these really lovely red carpets. I wanted it to be red in this place. I thought red would be romantic, and I definitely wanted some places that would be a little bit separate, a little bit more romantic. And I think that if you have a couple that are looking for a really nice romantic meal, this is the perfect place to come, because I really did put in effort to make it a little bit separate in some places. So on the inside especially, there are places that really do separate the tables, and you've got the whole wooden bars at the pillars, and you've got curtains and everything. So I think it looks very nice, very royal, and that's the best way that I can describe it. And I don't know if the interior decorating is for everybody's taste, but I think for me, just the little places where you put the seats, I was proud of that. I was personally proud of that, but only that, I think. But yeah, I didn't want to not put in as much effort on the outside as I did with the in, because that's just not fair. I wanted to spend a lot of time, and I really, really did. I think the build itself took me about 3 hours. So a really, really long time, and I don't regret any of it. I think that it was absolutely what I wanted to do, and I just think that it was the right size for what I wanted to do as well. But I was also putting in some single tables. I think that this would be really, really nice to have a little cozy area. I don't know how you would even describe that, like a cubby area, I don't know. But it's just like a separate area from the rest of it, and I had loads of those, so I really like that. There are some outdoor seats as well, but they're just scattered everywhere, and I just really couldn't find a good place to put them. To be honest, when I first saw the restaurant, I was thinking to myself that maybe the more tables and chairs you put, the more people turn up, so I'll just put loads. But I don't know if that's how it works. I think it works if you don't own the restaurant and you're just going to it. Because when I was actually trialling the pack, so many people turned up. It was packed. It was absolutely packed. It was jam-packed, and I couldn't even get my sim to walk through. So, yeah, I mean, this venue wasn't packed. It was actually another venue, but it's not the point. I think that if you're actually having this restaurant as just a place to go to and a place to visit, then I think that loads of people show up, hopefully. I was trying to go with the whole fine dining look though, so I hope that you noticed that. I wanted to go for something very posh and elegant this time, but I think for future builds, I'll be trying other styles of builds out. So let me know in the comments below what restaurant build you want to see next, because I'm definitely up for many challenges, no matter what it is. Just let me know, and I will give you a hint over Twitter via emoji what I'm going to be doing next, because I'm really into that at the moment. I have no idea. I just love little pictures, and emojis are just my favourite things. But anyway, so I was trying to think of different restaurant stories or something, like stories that I've had going to restaurants, and I've had really bad experiences. But an interesting story that I found out a while ago was off my old teacher, when we had like a form teacher at school, and he was telling me a story, and it particularly stuck in my head, and it's just nothing that I've ever heard before, because it's from the other person's side. So instead of me going to a restaurant and having a bad experience, it's actually the waitress having a bad experience. And he had this girlfriend, and it was a long time ago. They didn't stay together very long. Apparently she was absolutely crazy, and he told the whole class this. So it was just one of those stories that you can share with anyone, because I don't know, it's strange. But anyway, what happened was, she was a waitress, and somebody walked into the restaurant and ordered something, but they were very, very shirty with her. They were quite nasty, and I think that she got very offended by it, and she got very deeply offended by it. And what she did though, when his food came, she took it into the toilet, and she put his burger down the toilet. And then, when she went back to his table, he apologised for the way that he spoke to her, and he just said, look, I'm really, really sorry, I'm having a terrible day, it was no excuse, I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. And she actually gave him the burger. She didn't want to, but I think at that point it was just too late. I honestly think that if it was me, I mean, bear in mind, I would never do that to anybody, but if it was me and I was in a situation where I was holding a plate of food which had been damaged and I had to give it to somebody, I honestly think that I would just drop it, and I would just pretend that it was an accident or something, because there's nothing else you can do. Like, I would definitely not give it to them. But let me know what you do in the comments below. I know it's an odd question, but I don't know. I think it's interesting to know what your answer is. But yeah, I was also thinking about that. But I did actually work as a waitress a really long time ago. And I actually worked in the restaurant for about 2 shifts. And I didn't last any longer than that because I was absolutely terrible. And I can honestly admit that to you. I was absolutely awful at waitressing. I was just really bad. I couldn't take orders properly. I was writing too slowly as well. I found that really hard to have a pen and pad and just not write fast enough. So I was writing all this stuff down, and then I'd get to the kitchen and I wouldn't even understand it myself, and I'd have to go back and then go and check with them. So it's really embarrassing. But I was only about 15 or 16 when I had my first waitressing shift, and it was at a brand new place. And nobody had any clue what was going on. The manager didn't know. Nobody knew what was happening. Like, he was obviously very nervous because it was the first opening and he wanted it to go all successfully, so he hired loads of people. But apparently it just wasn't enough. And what happened was there was just an overflow of people. It was the first shift and no one was telling me what to do. And there was this girl and she was supposed to be looking after me, and she hid in the toilets for about 3 hours, and I kept going in the toilets and I was like, are you coming out? I don't know what to do. And she just kept saying, yeah, I'm just texting my dad. And it was so odd because I just never knew like why. I think it was because she was really, really scared with the amount of people that was there, but it just meant that I had to do double the work and I had no idea what to do and no one was telling me. So then she ended up leaving early. She actually walked out about 10:30 and she went over to the manager and just said, yeah, I'm leaving now. And then that was it. Like, I stayed till about 1 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty late for a 15-year-old, I think anyway. I think that maybe for me though, that is just late anyway. I've never been able to stay up past 1 o'clock. Honestly, I get tired about 12 o'clock and I just have to go to bed because I'm not one of those people. Like, unless I'm doing something like The Sims or I'm really, really distracted, then I'll try and stay up, but no, I really can't. And I don't know how people do all-nighters or anything because I've never been able to do it. In fact, I actually went round to someone's house and it was supposed to be an all-nighter and it ended up being till about 11 o'clock for me because I just can't. I really can't. But then again, I don't know. I don't think I'm one of these people that can stay up anyway. But anyway, back to the build. So I was putting in some bar areas. I thought that having a lovely bar would be a really good place to go. And I think that eventually how I would like to imagine this is if you have a fully functioning restaurant and you offer the most exquisite food and it's fantastic, then you could open up the bar, hire a mixologist, and you could have it as maybe complimentary drinks to the people that are paying a very, very high amount of money. For instance, if they're paying 40 simoleons, that's it, yeah, simoleons, for a meal, that is a lot. Whereas one drink is what, like 2 simoleons or something? So yeah, you could do that. And also I did put some entertainment outside. So if you really did want the whole package and you wanted all the guests here and you could have as many as you could, then you could have some entertainment outside. You could have a pianist, you could have an entertainer, you could have a mixologist, and it could look really good. So hope you get to see that because I would love to see this whole place in action with everything going. I would love to see it eventually become a 5-star restaurant. That would be incredible. And if you do that, let me know because I would absolutely love to see it as a 5-star restaurant. But anyway, so I was then on to the takeaway place. Now, this was when I had a complete mind block. I had no idea what to do here. I actually originally decided that I was going to put in an ice cream machine, like one of those really big ones. Then I decided that I couldn't actually find it. And it turns out we don't have one of those. I just imagined it in my head. And what we actually get is we get a tiny little ice cream place. I was expecting that for an ice cream stuff pack because I think that's what we got. I would expect that it would be a massive ice cream machine. But we didn't get that. So I was pretty surprised at that. And I was trying to find it. And I was thinking to myself, what did I actually buy when it came to that ice cream stuff? Was it just the ice cream? I honestly can't think what we got with it, so I have no idea. But anyway, so then what I was doing is I was putting in a front desk. I thought having a nice effect of a front desk and then the waiters or waitresses standing behind the counters waiting to serve, I thought that would be really good because it just splits it up a bit and it looks very exclusive. It looks like you really have to go to the front desk and you have to book a table or you have to have a reservation before you enter the restaurant and then you're taken to your table. So I like that idea because I know that a lot of restaurants that are 5-star or very, very good restaurants, I mean a lot of the ones in London, I actually went to a restaurant in London and it was a 6-month waiting list and it was just crazy. I think they had like a last minute cancellation though and that's why I ended up going. But usually you wouldn't be able to go there unless you were a celebrity or unless you booked in 6 months advance. And this is it as well. So if you're a celebrity, you can just turn around and kick someone out the table, even though they've been waiting 6 months to get that. I think that's absolutely crazy. And I can't remember if that happened to my dad. I can't remember because I think they had a business meeting there at some point, and I think that they did end up saying, actually no, because such and such is coming. So loads of celebrities go there. I didn't see anybody personally, but I think that my mum and dad, when they went, they saw a few people. They saw Jonathan Ross, they saw some other people from the radio, and I have seen some people in London. I haven't actually spoken to any celebrities, I don't think. Oh no, I met Gordon Ramsay. Of course I did. I met him in South Africa. But no, I think that apart from that, I don't think I have. I sat next to Will. No, I can't remember his name now. He's so irrelevant. Will, I have no idea. But no, I sat next to a pop star on the plane, and I can't even remember his name. It was so long ago, but he was really rude. And he was telling people to get lost when they were trying to speak to him. And I understand it because it was a late flight, but he could have at least smiled. I can't remember his name. But no, Gordon Ramsay was absolutely lovely when I met him, and he was really, really nice. And I was very surprised because there is a whole image on these programs that he can come across quite nasty. But when I met him, he was honestly one of the most genuine people I've met, and he was so friendly and just excited to meet people. And he actually remembered me because I went to his event. I went to this like cooking event, and that was in the daytime. And he signed a book, and I didn't even know what I was getting a book for because I really don't read. And my mum said to me, you should just get a book because eventually you might want to start cooking. So maybe it was a massive hint on my mum's part, but I didn't really listen anyway because I haven't even used the book. But it was a really nice book. It was like a hardback book, and he signed it for me. And he asked for my name, he asked where I was from, and I told him. And then later on, I actually found out that he was staying at the same hotel as we were staying at, and he was, I think, maybe 1 or 2 rooms down from my parents. So yeah, that was a bit strange. And there was like this separate lounge area for the people that were on a certain floor, and he was there as well a lot of the time. But when we saw him in the restaurant, he actually remembered my name and where I was from. And bear in mind, there was like, I think, thousands of people that went to this event, and he actually came over and said, oh, I remember you, and he remembered my name and everything, and he came over and spoke to us, and he was really nice. He actually sat down at a table for about 2 hours just talking about his house and what he does and everything. It was really interesting, but that was that. So this now was the toilets. Now, I had no idea what I was doing here, but I was trying to do something very individual, and it wasn't going very right. It was going really awfully. And I thought what I'll do is I will just make loads of cubicles, and then I will decide after that. And I like the idea of having 6 because I thought, well, you're never going to use any more than that. And I thought that would look really good. So each one of these cubicles does have a toilet inside, but it's very plain. I mean, it's not anything really, it's just a toilet. And it's just a sink, it's just a bathroom. That is really all I can describe it as. But what I do like about this build, and one of my favourite things, is that you can actually live here. You can have your sim live here. And I wanted to do that because when I play with big plots like from Get to Work and things before, I've had plots that I've got really attached to, and I haven't actually wanted to send the sims home. And I like the idea of having a separate apartment upstairs, so you don't actually have to leave this plot. All you have to do, of course, if you have to have a base game, or base house rather, so base house, you could get like a start home or something, and then you could hire a restaurant or buy a restaurant. Yeah, buy a restaurant. Don't know why I said hire. But you could buy a restaurant and you could get the sim to come here, and they could live here and they could live in the apartment upstairs. So I really like that because it's very close and it's not too much messing about. So I thought that was a good idea, and this really does work as a house. It's big enough for a house, and you could definitely change it around upstairs if you wanted to. You could even fit a family in here. If you wanted to have a family that would live maybe in the apartment bit, that would be a really good idea, and you could have it, and you could have like a little nursery up there or something, and you could have it as a family business. That would be lovely. I would love to see kids here. I would love to see climbing frames outside and all that stuff. I used to love going to restaurants or bars. No, not bars. Why would I go to bars when I was younger? Restaurants when I was younger. And I used to go and sit outside, and I just used to love going to the places that would have things for kids. And it was actually somewhere close to my grandparents, because my grandparents live in Manchester, and that's where my family is originally from. And when I used to go and visit them, there was just massive amounts of just things for kids to do. And there was this one place, I remember it. it had a pumpkin slide. Can we just stop for a minute and just appreciate it had a pumpkin slide? I was so happy, honestly. I just used to look forward to it. I used to look forward to it for absolute months. I just used to think to myself, I really want to go there again. So I was very sad to leave the pumpkin slide. I really liked it, but that was that. So I think for the upstairs apartment, I was trying to go for pink, but I actually changed my mind and I went for green in the end. Now, it does have an open bar area upstairs, and I thought that would be definitely appropriate because I would want a separate kitchen. Now, if you do want to use this and you do want to keep the guests completely separate from this area, all you have to do is lock the door on the way in, or lock it for everybody but such and such. And that will make sure that if you have a family of Sims or one Sim, it means that the other people can't get in. Because when I was actually testing out this lot and I was trying to make sure it worked and make sure it was all perfect and it was just a good business, I did actually find that the people gathered upstairs in the television bit because I forgot to lock the door. But that is just me. That is just me forgetting stuff. And there are a lot of better players than me, so we will see what happens. But anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see your future videos. Thank you so much for watching and I will speak to you all soon. So I'm back for some shout outs because I promised that I would do this, and I just want to say thank you so much to the people that actually went to my husband's channel and checked it out, left a nice comment and subscribed. I honestly can't thank you enough. It was so nice for him to come back home from work and he had a massive smile on his face. He just looked so happy and I haven't seen him like that for a really long time, so thank you. And a massive, massive shout out to LB's Magic World, Drew Dulce Server, Sophie Sims, Diana Potra, Video Magna 06, Lovely Libra, Jennifer Leary, Emma Lee, Hayley Barth, Shy Girl Shadow, Sue Kay, Ellen Malmquist, Mary Walters, Lorna Lou, Roxy Oliver, Ryan, Naomi River, Pig Chicken Extra AB, Enos Monterio, Gemois, Sophie Mountfort, Glamorous X Kate, Pineapple Twins, Lise Stephenson, Cami M, Rebecca Hayes, Princess Glenna, Ellie Dalton, Eva Joe, Brianne Mills, Jennifer Hayes, JJ, Ciara Mead, Shem M, Marina Curtis, Paige Hettish, Roxanne Quillette, Olivia Aki, Elish Behan, Caru Bain, Queen Bubble, Kawaii Unicorn 28, Simmer Moon, Anna Durs, Marique Steen, Charlie Berkston, X Alicia Sings X, KS Monkey 202, Wife for Life 2307, I love that name, Just a Person, Lily M, Hannah Kane, Mary Cleage, Ramino Ramirez, Hey It's Leah, Danielle H, Michelle Uguni, Cheryl Rose, Savannah Twell, Elisa Williams, Delphi Laclu, Shell Betts 1, Davine Dillion Mensa, Earth Iris, Rikea, The Johnsons, Fantastic Elastic, love that name, Audrey Belrose, Chloe McMahon, Michael Irvery, Lana, Cody Wills, Malin Savoy Nagan, the Canadian Gaming Llama, Kathleen McBride, David Robinson, Sydney Law, Mackenzie Beath, Thomas Batty, Kate Hudson, Oh I'm Sophia, Lil Rainbow Shine XOXO, Amesy Elizabeth, Himdi Miku, Jordan Laffery, Lovely Libra, Skeleton Cleek, Amina Ali, Costa Fan for Life, Emma Harding, The Randy Games, Kirstine Marie, I Like Breadsticks, .s, Starburst 29, Fluffy Bunny, Lauren Hanson, and Kavon Davis. So thank you so much to all of you. If you're still looking to get a shout out, then absolutely. It's not over yet, and I will continue to do shout outs for this. And I just want to tell you how grateful I am. So thank you so much, and I will speak to you all in my next video.